It's time for your statewide Alabama weathercast.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your latest statewide forecast update. And as we look across the state around midday today, we've got cloud cover covering most of the state. Southwestern corner here getting a little bit of sunshine starting to creep in, but generally most places have low clouds and a few lingering showers in northwestern Alabama and also in the eastern side of the state, but otherwise most places just seeing some low clouds and a little bit of fog in a few spots. Rain totals in the last couple of days with this system got a nice swath of over an inch of rain from west central Alabama up to northeastern Alabama. Some places getting over a couple of inches, and you can see that for sure down in Baldwin County where you got 2.3 inches in Gulf Shores. We'll show you here in a second, but for a little bit further east than that, got a lot more than that in an isolated area there. Unfortunately, the southeastern part of the state didn't do quite as well. Just got some trace amounts and some quarter-inch amounts there in southeastern Alabama. So not quite as much there, but again, in Baldwin County especially, you got a lot. We got estimates of 7 to 8 inches of rain there in the Orange Beach area with some flash flooding that occurred. And we also had a little bit of flooding and flash flooding up in Robertsdale, places like that along US 90 with a little bit later last night. This was kind of morning time. This one that was more last night. You got almost 4 inches in Fairhope, and even over in across the bay in Mobile County, you got a few spots with a few inches, but you didn't get nearly as much in Mobile itself, just about a half inch. So they kind of missed out on a lot of rain there in Mobile. We do have rip current statements still in effect. We'll just mention, even though the weather's calmed down, you still have a rip current statement in effect for the Alabama Gulf Coast all the way through the Panhandle beaches. That goes until 6 o'clock tonight. So still one more day of needing to kind of take it easy and not be getting out in the surf, although obviously it looks a little bit nicer out there this morning than it did yesterday this time for sure. And we'll take a look at that Orange Beach. So about this time yesterday, or a little bit earlier, we were getting thunderstorms. We had a tornado coming through Ono Island, or a waterspout that became a tornado. And now it looks a lot nicer out there. But again, this still got a little bit of a wave action there and rip currents. And so, but definitely at least a nicer day to sit out on the beach. It's 73 degrees there, and you got a little bit of a breeze happening. And as we continue to move towards the north, looking nice there in Spanish Fort as well. Got a little bit of blue sky starting to peek out and a few clouds hanging around, but definitely looks a little bit nicer than yesterday. It's 70 degrees there. And as we continue to move up into the kind of the southern part of the state, Dozier, again, here's where you're starting to get into some of that low cloud cover and maybe a little bit of fog. It's 64 degrees there. And if we go kind of to the eastern side of South Alabama, Abbeville, basically in the fog at this point, and you can see the temperature and the dew point match. And when you see that, that's where you get the fog. So we've actually got, especially in southeastern Alabama, some spots that have had some lingering fog that, again, should start to dissipate as we get later into the day, but it may take a little while with the current setup that we have with the weather. So looking at Hoover, you can see low clouds is there as well. It's 56 degrees there, and we expect we will stay fairly cool across most of the state where you have all this cloud cover into place. Florence is also in the 50s at 54 degrees there. They've seen a few showers more recently, but again, it's just some lingering clouds there and a little bit of a gust of wind around 12 miles per hour. And looking at what the lows were this morning from our sky watchers, generally got down in the 50s in the northern part of the state and 60s further south, but most of the reports we got here are the 50s, 52 in Jemison from Justin Gentry, Ray Torillo, and Coleman got down to 53. Mike Thomas and Lake Martin hit 54. Ronald Hughes and Coker 55, and Russ Gaddy and Demopolis got down to 56 degrees. Temperatures right now, again, a lot of the state is in the 50s, and will probably kind of stay in that sort of range, or maybe get a little bit higher because we're kind of socked in with clouds here and got a little bit of a wedge occurring, I think, with some winds coming out of the northeast. It's 56 in Alexander City, 58 in Birmingham. Further to the south, where you kind of got sort of that lingering frontal boundary down there and a sort of a trough behind this low that moved through, we're still fairly warm, 68 degrees in Atmore, it's 77 still in Gulf Shores, so you definitely don't have any sort of air mass change happening in the southern part of the state yet. And you can see that looking at the dew points, and it's kind of what we were seeing yesterday too, where we were dry in kind of this same general area of kind of the northeastern 3/4 of the state or so, with dew points in the 50s, and then we still have some higher dew points there kind of south of this boundary. So this thing's kind of still here. It'll be another day or two before we kind of sweep this out, I think, with the next system that's going to come through and bring us a cooler, drier air mass. So with that said, our forecast highs for today will only be in the 50s and 60s in the northeastern corner of the state, maybe getting the low to mid 60s kind of in the central area. And then as you move further to the south, it'll be relatively warm in the afternoon if you get a little bit of sunshine, getting up to 77 in places like Atmore, Mobile, and Gulf Shores. So again, what we're watching for today and the rest of this week. So we'll expect lingering showers today. Tomorrow should be mostly dry until you get into late into the nighttime period, and then into Wednesday morning, we'll have some more rain come through, especially in the northern part of the state, probably not as much in the southern part of the state. After that, though, we kind of establish this chillier air mass, so we'll get chilly nights, and frost is possible for North Alabama as we get into early Friday. So it'll be kind of expecting to be the coolest air mass of the season so far as we get into that time period. Now, looking at your Futurecast again, a few scattered showers are going to still be possible throughout the day. Cloud cover over most of the state over the course of the day, but still a few more a little bit more sunshine in the southwestern corner, allowing them to warm up a little bit more. As we get into tonight, still more cloud cover hanging around. It'll sort of hang around for a good portion of Tuesday as well. And again, as we get into Tuesday night, this model at least is bringing in some showers a little bit earlier than some of the other ones. So we might start to get some rain back into North Alabama by getting into later in the evening and nighttime of Tuesday night. It could wait a little bit longer on that. But then as we get into Wednesday, again, more showers coming through as we get into early morning. So this showing some showers getting into South Alabama as well, but this will be fairly light. This is not going to be significant rainfall. Better chance of getting a little bit more rain and some totals up around a half inch or so are probably going to be in North Alabama. Then another round, kind of another spoke of this upper level system coming through Wednesday evening, bringing more showers to North Alabama, generally not as much though to the southern part of the state. And then after that, as we get into Thursday and Friday, we start to clear things out and cool up, cool down, and dry out. And you can see that looking at the kind of the upper level map here, or looking at some of the temperatures that are going to be coming in here. So as we move through the rest of the week, you can see this air mass change coming right here as we get into Wednesday and into Thursday, get well into the blues there where we really cool down later in the week after we get through this next system here. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast where you'll see that happening. So again, some scattered showers lingering around for tomorrow or for today. Tomorrow, again, this will be kind of late night showers possible in North Alabama, and then a better chance of continued rain in a couple of rounds on Wednesday. And then as we get into the later part of the week, you see the highs only in the 50s and low 60s, lows down into the 30s, well down into the 30s, possible frost happening there. And then the weekend looks fairly cool and nice at this point, is what it's looking like at this point. We'll continue to kind of fine tune that. But then looking at our South Alabama 7-day forecast, again, a few scattered showers left over. Tuesday will be a little bit drier, but there still probably will be a passing shower, could be a passing shower at some point. Wednesday we'll have another scattered showers coming through there, and again, not as much as North Alabama, but then as we get past that, we dry out, and it will be cool in the southern part of the state as well, as lows get down in the 40s. And again, the coming weekend looking pretty good at this point. Well, that is your Alabama forecast update. We appreciate you watching us here on the Alabama Weather Network.